What's up guys, John Lorenzo from Lorenzo Fitness here. We are done with the 2015 Fresno Classic. A lot of stress off my shoulders. I was spending a lot of time focusing on that show, putting work in. Obviously, if you guys haven't, if you guys don't follow me on Facebook, I'll leave all my social media stuff down below so you could follow me there. But if you guys are unfamiliar, I'll put up a picture of my transformation here. And so basically, I'm just going to talk a little bit about prep and how it went, how my coach handled things and everything with that. So basically with that, we started off high, started off on maintenance calories. My maintenance is 3,000 calories. So for the most part, I was in enough. I was doing as much of a deficit. I was putting myself in enough of a deficit to cause weight loss at 3,000 calories. So I was doing 4 times of cardio, 4 sessions of cardio per week, 3 times of low intensity steady state or moderate intensity steady state for 30 minutes. I would do 1 high intensity interval training session for 20 minutes. So that's what I did. And of course, going through the prep, I had to switch out certain types of cardio because I felt certain ones didn't really feel like they were high intensity. If you look at some of my videos on my channel, there are some things that I use in the beginning and then some things I kind of fell off from just because it kind of got a little monotonous. For example, like the high intensity interval training on the bike, I kind of wish I kind of stuck with that for the majority of it. I did do other things too as well. I did like some weighted sled stuff, which helped a lot. And of course, anything that was low intensity would basically be like anything on the treadmill. I put the treadmill, the highest amount of incline, put it on 3.8, 3.7, maybe sometimes 4.0. Keep a steady state there and just sit on there for 30 minutes basically. And of course, as I got closer to prep, the amount of the duration of the cardio obviously increased. So it would be from 30 to 40, and the most I ever did was HIIT training was 30 minutes. So HIIT training for me, of course, as I said with the bike, that helped. The weighted sleds helped. Anything with resistance, I noticed more of a response in terms of my physique. For the most part, for the meal plan, like I kind of started prep on my own first. And then I sought out a local coach's services, and she did help me bring me into my condition, which was good. The reason I chose a coach, obviously, of course, with the amount of knowledge and more often more or less the experience that she had coaching people in physique, I felt that it would be beneficial to me to, of course, hire her for her services, and she did really well. So, of course, I couldn't have gotten to my condition without her. So, with that being said, basically we started off on maintenance calories. I did flexible dieting with her macros, basically. So, you know, with most people like to stick to what, of course, has been time tested, which is the whole clean eating thing. Obviously, rigid dieting, everything that's kind of set, certain macronutrients that are set within the meal. So basically, it would be like an amount of protein here, carbs, fats, all laid out through 6 meals a day, or however many, what your preference was, basically. So that's what I did, but I was flexible with her macros. So, for example, like, in the beginning, I was full all the time just because it was voluminous food. Now that I realize, just, you know, a lot of veggies, a lot of food that kept me full, which is good. Of course, you want to feel sated, you know, you want to feel satisfied so you don't binge or do anything crazy, which is, I understand that. But at the same time, I took a chance and I did flexible dieting by, for example, you know, a certain amount of quinoa had this many calories, I'll basically try to match the calories and the carbs with another carb source. So like tortilla chips. I have like some multi-grain tortilla chips that I've loved to death. I'm probably gonna eat them like forever. Late July, hit me up, sponsor me please. Anyway, no, they're really good chips. But anyway, so I'd weigh them out, of course, and I'd make sure that to be strict with my macros, because with flexible dieting, you have to, well, with anything you have to be strict, of course, but especially in contest prep. But with the flexible dieting, you just have to be more strict, because obviously if you go over, there's a less, you know, like there's more of a risk to, you know, set yourself back. So with that being said, that's what helped me a lot. Of course, looking up Chipotle menus day in and day out kind of helped me here as well. So of course, as I got closer and as I found the, you know, ease of mind and what kept me sane throughout most of the prep was flexible dieting. And of course I told her this, that I was utilizing it, and she told me basically, hey, if it's working for you, then, you know, it's working for you. So that's what I like, especially someone who's open-minded enough to where, you know, they're not so, say, no, stop it or I'll drop you or something like that, or something crazy, you know, like, obviously I brought in the results, I worked hard, and with flexible dieting, you possibly could do that too. With peak week, basically, I know most people don't really do this, of course, but of course she did have me cut water out, which was an experience of itself. You know, drinking 2 gallons of water prior, like a couple days prior, and then of course cutting it all out. I feel like it really made much of a difference. Maybe a little bit here and there, but it was just anything that was visual, basically. Anything that the glycogen couldn't hold on to, anything that was extracellular or intracellular, in terms of that. So, to be honest, is it necessary? I don't think so. I would just focus on getting lean before the show, and I was lean before the show, so obviously it worked out. So, something I would do again, maybe, maybe not, just because you cramp all the time. Of course, well, what I used for, what my coach recommended that I use was L2 from Cellucor. Of course, we drink 2 gallons a day for 3 days, and of course, the next day, of course, you finish a gallon by a certain time period. And then you basically, on the day of prep, I was having basically 4 ounces of water for every meal, 4 ounces of water for every meal, so I had to weigh my water, which was kind of bizarre. And that was it. More of the footage of that day could be found at my boy Santiago's channel on Unique Style Fitness. So you could find most of that there. Basically, I was running around all day trying to figure some stuff out. There's some really good physiques that I actually want to aspire to. So this will probably be the ending point of doing physique and the transition into going into bodybuilding. That's because I have the wheels and nobody else in physique trains legs. Sorry, putting that out there. There was no one with a really good set of wheels that caught my attention. Obviously, everyone's in board shorts, so how could you catch people's attention with their legs? Except when you're in standing in line for tanning. People were admiring. I can tell. No, I'm joking. Everyone was like aesthetic as hell, which is cool. A lot of aesthetic physiques. So that was cool. So in terms of future shows and future preparations, basically what I'm going to focus on now is I probably won't do a show, maybe pushing it just because it really tapped out a lot of my resources. I was putting a lot into this, so I probably won't do another one. I might do another one at the end of the year. We'll see. Again, I have to see what's coming up. If it's going to be NPC, I don't know. I'd rather do something maybe more natural, a natural show maybe, or even something. Just try a different federation, or maybe WFBB. There was one around the same time that the Fresno Classic was. So if that's the only one that's for a while that doesn't have to involve much traveling, then you know, then I'm shit out of luck. So if I can't find another one, if I can, then hey, that's pretty good. So with that, I'm just gonna focus on putting on strength, putting on size in the right places where I need to. Of course, I need to work more on my delts, my medial delts, more on my upper chest. Just focus on building up my upper body. And if I can put a sizable amount of weight on there and try to match the same conditioning or even get better, then you know, I think I'll do a lot of damage the years to come. So there's definitely some physiques that inspired me to want to make the transition to bodybuilding, just because this very aesthetic, very 80s style look, which I prefer, to be honest. I don't really like too much of a blocky waist. I don't like mass monsters too much. Something that a physique that someone can say, hey, you know, like if I worked pretty hard, like I look pretty close to that. Maybe not that close, but I could look pretty good. That's the physique basically that I want to achieve. And you know, that's what I set out to do. So just to this is video basically just to say that, look, I did everything with flexible dieting. Like, I worked with open-minded people that were cool with it. You know, I learned what types of tools for cardio worked for me and what didn't. And now I feel that if I could apply that same work ethic to my off season, not to say that I slack off in the off season, but I probably could work a little harder in the off season, then I'm gonna make all kinds of gains. Because now that I know what it takes to get to this type of competitive body fat percentage, now I know what it takes, and now I want to go beyond that. I want to, you know, work in a style that if I wanted to, I could just do it now, or do it in a couple weeks, you know. So that's where I like. As far as that goes, that's basically. If you guys have any questions about, more questions about my prep, water, training, nutrition, flexible dieting, anything at all relating to me or Santiago from Unique Style Fitness, or of course Lorenzo Fitness too as well, anything fitness related, please leave a question down below in the comment section and we'll try to get back to you within 3 days. I like to make a Q&A in 3 days and try to help as many people as possible. So with that being said, let's stay swole, Cali Muscle reppin', peace.